Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm a little exhausted. My man Friday, aka Jamie, she actually got really injured and hasn't been able to walk, so I had to do a bunch of crap around the house, and it's cool. You know, today is the eve of what can potentially be a life-altering day for me tomorrow, but it could be just another day where I am routinely told about all the things I do wrong, which are not true. And I just wanted to tell everyone that it is extremely difficult to stand by and continue to watch as your children, your home, and everything you've worked to build is taken away from you by the very people that you've worked for. A lot of you simply just don't believe me, no matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I'll say. I can say the nicest things in the world. You will say that I'm a manipulative con artist. If I say mean things, you'll say that I am a disruptive individual who is looking to destroy something. There is no win for me. This is the way my life has been for the last quarter century or so. I didn't really understand how bad it got until the last couple of years. I really miss my boys. I think that when I started this channel 6 years ago, I wasn't really understanding of how much it would really affect the psyche of the people that watch this. And one of the reasons why it does is that, in my personal opinion, as an observer, and someone who's never partaken in social media other than creating content, which I don't manage other than the creation and publication of the YouTube and Instagram over the last year. That is only because of endless accusations of things that are not true. So now I do manage the content, but as far as it goes, when I started this channel, it was a two-person process where I would have a reflective audience built into the production, and even though that everyone laughed at me, I still took myself serious. And that's okay. You are more than free to laugh. And I assure you, anyone who is serious about their art or entertainment and cannot take criticism is really not a real artist. It is just a human being who's looking to stroke their ego. In the last couple of weeks, I believe that I lost a few audience members, and that's okay. I'm only looking for 200. 200 is the only number that I strive for, and I believe that I'm able to achieve it based on the content that I'm going to create over the next X amount of years. The biggest issue stems from the violation of my parental rights, my constitutional rights, and the endless whistleblower protections that I am being violated thereof. My problem stems from the fact that I've worked my ass off within the rules of our society. I understand the principles of business, marketing, and law based on the law, based on people following the law. And truly, I have found myself at this point giving up on being a good dude. And it's not that I don't want to do good things. I just want to mind my own business. I find myself not reaching to help people. I find myself silent about matters that are going on. I find myself letting things go because truly, what's the point? If you are a human being who has worked their entire lives and are now witnessing a man like me having his children taken away from him and being a victim of domestic violence. I've been beaten for 5 or 6 years. I took it all like an idiot because I was afraid of this social backlash. Human beings who wanted to laugh at me because I'm a victim, and that's okay. And then as time progressed, I realized that a lot of people had an opinion on my personal life and what I did for a living and how I conducted myself, and that's okay. None of these people paid my bills, and they sure as shit did not offer any positive encouragement. Some of those people were some of the closest friends I had and family, and that's okay. And then people started to bully Jamie, and I knew the truth. I knew that she was a really good mom, and she birthed 3 children and raised them pretty much by herself while, I'm gonna reserve. And that's okay, because that's what a really good mom is. She knows who she is beyond the scope of other people's opinion. So that's okay. And then my businesses were taken from me. But everything was safe, so that's okay. And then my real estate was temporarily taken from me. And that's okay. And then my children were taken from me. And that's not okay. And it'll never be okay. And every single second that passes, with every motherfucker that thinks that kidnapping, alienation, and everything imaginable is okay, I have some news for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wait very peacefully until the judge has made her ruling. And I assure you, if the ruling is positive, I'm going to stay silent. I haven't seen my boys in 11 months. If the ruling is where a victim of domestic violence is held responsible for finally coming forward, I will encourage every single human being never to go to the Essex vicinage ever for any family matters, because it'll backfire on you, and there is absolutely zero semblance of continuity. I am the longest pro se litigant in a family matrimonial matter in the history of the United States. I have also been arrested 6 times as a direct result of the lies that have been purported to the court and law enforcement. I spent 31 days in Essex County Jail for 6 various arrests. On 4 separate occasions, I was incarcerated for 7 days at a time. This means, ladies and gentlemen, that essentially I have been exonerated of every accusation my wife or the courts have made against me. I am facing a few misunderstandings that I assure you I will prevail in, but they should have nothing to do, since I'm an innocent man, and this has nothing to do with any of the matters. Furthermore, I hold the record for the most amount of pro se litigant wins in U.S. history. I hold the record for the shortest win. We also did the last one in less than 1 minute. We did it in 58 seconds. Thank you, Prosecutor Valcunes. And one of the funnier things, and I think everyone can joke about it, is I couldn't say his name. Judge Fully-Love was yelling at me to say his name, and I was like practicing, and I said and you know, my boy Jamie goes, Val Kilmer? I said, no, not Val Kilmer. Valcunes. Good dude. And Emily, assigned by the court, great, very nice soundboard. We didn't really do that much. The goal was for me, when I took the anchor, not to say a word, to get it under a minute. I think, good job. Thank you so much for Nick, as always. Thank you, Judge Fully-Love, and thank you for justice prevailing. Look, it's a very, very strange thing when you have to go on YouTube, swear yourself in for no reason whatsoever, and pretty much look at the camera and say, look, with all due respect to anyone who believes that I'm some sort of a nefarious villain, please understand that your image of me stems from movies such as The Dark Knight, where the Joker seems to be not only psychotic, but also kills innocent human beings, such as the characters in there, and he targets chief of police, he targets prosecutor, he targets judges. Look, I don't know how to express this to everyone. I don't do any of that stuff. I assure you, I might have dressed up a few times on Halloween, I do some crazy stuff on YouTube, but this is just a show. It's just a really good show, but it's just a show. Look, see this? I am currently filming this, okay? By the time this gets published and viewed, it will be the past for me, which means that I'm doing something completely different. But your brain does not recognize that. Your brain sees me here, because in your brain, you are on the internet. You are not present. That is one of the biggest dangers, and that is why I know that we as a society, excluding myself and a few very lucky individuals, we are simply brainwashed. We are brainwashed in a system that we do not fully understand. And we are praying to this system. We are looking at the numbers that I have, and you say to yourself, wow, this guy's crazy. I can't believe he has 5 people. Because in your head, you want to compare me to someone else. There is no comparison. I could have 1 viewer. I could have 50 billion views. It's absolutely irrelevant. The concept of public acceptance does not exist for a channel that's purposefully suppressed by the US government so that I can live a normal life. I have no interest in hurting a single person, but I do have expressed interest in showing everyone a few graphic images of some basic things. Check it out. You see, The truth of some basic things is not something that we as a society really want to accept, because it would really prevent us from being distracted by national narratives, wars overseas, or lives of people that we have nothing to do with. Celebrity gossip, sports, at a national level. Please, the majority of human beings barely are able to go to a sporting event that's close enough for them to see or make out the faces of the individuals they're watching. We as a society have become so disenfranchised by the reality of the heroes in our lives. We have teachers, we have friends, we have role models, we have abandoned all of them, all to worship false idols. As the Bible says, beware of false idols. At no time in our history have we as a society been worshiping false items than we do right now. Look at your social media feeds and ask yourself how many people that you haven't met that you follow because of their acceptance throughout the general audience, or the general audience acceptance of them. And the reality is the majority of people, very few individuals will watch a channel like mine simply because of the very few number of human beings that follow. Surely this man is crazy because other people would follow him. That mentality is very wrong. The numbers that you see on the bottom are not correct. And I urge everyone to sleep a good night and understand that I am looking forward to showing everyone that I am literally one of the few human beings that can honestly say, guys, I can't believe I'm even alive after what I've been through. The insanity and the human torture that people that I've known for my whole life put me through, and I take it because I'm a loving human being and I'm really strong. But that strength comes at a price. I've had multiple strokes. I don't lie. And I realize that being in a marriage, I guess, requires you to lie. And that's why I don't want to be in one. I think that my wife is a great mom, and I think that she has completely lost her mind based on this content and her inability to distinguish between reality and the internet and social media. And that is my personal opinion based on everything I've seen, the comments that she has made, the mockery that she has made my life into, and the lack of awareness of how important both myself are in my children's life and how my children are important in my life. And the fact that I've done so much for these people and the way that they're treating me only shows that I'm absolutely right. So all I want to do is just sell off my assets, be happy, move on with my life, be free, and not bother with the past. And the past, as I've described to everyone, is nothing more than a memory. Whether or not it happened can even be debated. I mean, there's people that debate the Holocaust. Why not deny traumatic memories in your life, such as dedicating yourself to a family for a quarter of a century, doing endless trips and all that stuff to Long Island, and being left and saddled with a series of lies that you have to account for both publicly and privately. What that is highly illegal, immoral, and truly the very essence of why I have a very serious issue with my children being around individuals who are brainwashing them to be really mean, really negative, and not love the people that are good to them. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel M. Rhesus, and I'm going to need to take a little bit of a break, but I assure you, come tomorrow, I will finally be able to breathe. Because what a woman judge who has shown that she is both good, but at the same time she has taken zero responsibility for the egregious mistakes that were made throughout this trial, including seeing us once a month. I mean, look, there are children's lives that are in the balance. And for any human being to believe that I'm that naive, that I believe that I'm actually going to win after 11 months of killing myself and being honorable, going to every trial, every date. I went through over 70 court dates. Please, ladies and gentlemen, there's no human being that can sustain a job or maintain any relationships in business. When you Google my name, it's nothing but mugshots. This was all done on purpose by this asshole, Matthew Samora. And like, honestly, guys, if you're able to be alive tomorrow after what I've been through, consider yourself a huge fucking winner. And look yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you are. I'm a warrior. My name is Daniel M. Rhesus. Warriors, come out and play. Look, how else would I be able to end this video without a little bit of pepper, a little bit of white pepper, known as Dan Reese's. Now, a lot of you don't really comprehend that this is entertainment. For very few people, for most people, this is cringy, unacceptable, and truly some of the most deplorable honesty on the internet, because what you want is a highlight reel. On Instagram, you've got a highlight reel. I actually don't even like posting stuff on it, but I will starting tomorrow. That's positive. Let's see how the people that are responsible for the safety and well-being of minors truly show their true colors. My name is Daniel M. Reeses. Sleep tight, little ones, and don't let the bed bugs bite. Good night, Drake and Pierce. I can't say it, but I do love you very much. And when you're 18 and are able to watch this, I hope you know how hard Dad fought for your rights, for my rights, and for our rights as a family. I literally will be dead before I give up. Have a good night.